Unity is a game engine with endless possibilities. There is no end to what people can do in Unity because it has everything you could possibly need to make whatever you can dream of. Like, if you remember a few years back, some guy turned a real, organic, edible banana into a real working controller that could steer a car in a driving simulator that he also created inside of Unity. Yet somehow, after all of that, there is not one tutorial on YouTube that shows you how to swing on a rope! Okay, I know this video is a little bit late, but I didn't spend this time wasting away playing South Park: The Fractured Butthole, even though I have. What I've actually been trying to do is make the environment for my game a little more fun and interactive. So sit back, relax, and watch the madness unfold. Now you might be thinking, I just slipped on the floor, whoops. Now you might be thinking, but Oliver, you seem a lot happier in this devlog. That's not like you, what gives? And you'd be absolutely right, because things actually went surprisingly well. I made additions to what the human can interact with, as well as things the player avoids, and a barrier to close off areas temporarily. However, the magnum opus of this whole video is this chain. To catch you up to speed, I need to briefly explain how interacting with things works. When I first designed the human in my previous devlogs, you might have noticed the little white square that looks randomly placed in the task box. And you'd be wrong, you big stupid Nothing is placed randomly for no reason in game development, dummy. For my observant people, you might have noticed it changes colour when the human is next to it.
Oh my god! Wow!
That's because this square is an interactable. When a player goes near the interactable as the human, it glows yellow, which indicates you can do quirky little things with it. Now this script here basically detects if the human is active and nearby, then glows yellow, and if you press E, the object will do its job, like picking up items, grabbing onto stuff, or opening puzzles for you to solve. Super handy considering that's all the human is used for. Dumbass. Now getting back to the chain. This was a nightmare. I'm going to tell you the story while I'm tying my shoelaces. This was a nightmare, mainly because no one's doing tutorials on making your character swing on a rope for some reason. Because you'd think that's a handy thing to add to your game, would you not? No, of course you wouldn't. Sure, they would show you how to make a rope and how the rope physics work and it swings around, but it's useless information because it just sits there and looks pretty. So I was on my own. Except I wasn't. This is Rubik's. I'm giving him this codename because he can solve a Rubik's Cube faster than I can call him a nerd for it. Where this is relevant is that this guy is a coding genius. When I first started my project and was showing him all of my progress, he just decides, I'm gonna learn C# now. And just mastered it within a month. This guy learns things so fast he's like a sponge of knowledge. Now my first instinct about this guy, like many of you watching probably is thinking right now, was...
Nerd. You're a fucking nerd. Nerd. You're a fucking nerd. And no one likes you. No one likes you.
But then I realized I can politely request Rubik's to make me a script that lets my player swing on a rope. When I say swing on a rope, I don't mean climb up it like a ladder, Rubik's. I mean that classic good Rayman Legends rope physics. Or at least a downgrade knockoff of it, probably. Rubik's failed miserably and wasted hours of my precious time. I started to think, by the time I made the rope, I was going to use it to hang myself. By the way, Rubik's, I know you know who you are. I didn't mean that, and I really appreciate your help. Thank you. I didn't know... I'm a man. I didn't know what to do. AI didn't know what to do. Rubik's didn't know what to do. He just misunderstood what I was asking of him. That's not his fault at all. That's entirely my fault. I apologize. My communication skills are terrible. Please forgive me. And it felt like I wasn't going to get the rope obstacle that I'd always dreamed of having in my game since I was a young boy. But then I had a revelation. What if instead I just have the player stick to the rope when they push the interact button and just look like they're swinging around using their momentum instead of actually holding onto it as if they were wall climbing, for example? Okay, I understand that last bit might have been a little bit confusing, so I put this into terms that you simpletons can understand. Right here, let's just say this is the rope, okay? So we've got the top and the bottom of the rope colored in so you can see. So this is the player, right? Instead of having him hold onto the rope like this, like this, you know, really like touching it, being physical, what we're actually doing instead, hold on, let me get some. What's really being done is that it's identifying the bottom of the rope down here, and it's like, yep, we'll just stick that little thing, tracker. There. No. So there we go. So then every time the player presses E near the rope, this piece of tape comes out and is like, yep, let's stick him there. Cool. Does that make sense? I hope so, because I feel silly now. So I spent hours making a rope creator that has interactable segments that stick the player to the bottom of the rope in a way they can use it to swing and jump off. Then I spent a short time designing and implementing a visual design to make it blend into the environment, and now I'm sleep deprived and losing my mind. You might be thinking, but Oliver, why don't you sound upset? This sounds miserable. Well, come on, please work. Please work. Big money, big money, big money. Oh my god, yes. Yeah! It works. It works. Oh, I f***ing missed. Okay. Flawless. No problems there at all. Jump. Okay, well, that was delayed. This is how ropes work. Okay, I'll admit it looks so broken and dumb, but for the sake of making content, I need to move on. Eventually I'll make a climbing and swinging animation, and make the rope swing a bit cleaner, but for now I'm willing to call this a complete success. So we move on to the other stuff. Oh wow, that rope is actually really cool. Wowee, that's really useful and convenient to the player. Well, what else did you make? It must be really cool. So I made a box. Why? Look, just hear me out. The box plays a crucial role in the game. You see it, you push it to get higher. Wait, and use it as a shield. Wait, I'm not done. And you push buttons with them. Oh my god, what a genius mind I have. How clever and creative. Never been seen before, except for several other puzzle games. But it doesn't matter, because it's my game, and I'm special. In the head. Look, please, just don't click off the video just yet. There's a catch to this, just bear with me. What makes objects in this game interesting is that if you watch my first devlog video, I said this. The human is capable of solving puzzles and interacting with the environment, while the alien handles combat. Like a two-player co-op game, but for loners with no friends. Amazing! The human is the only one who can move things, which means you have to do some character management while you fight through these rooms. You're going to be solving puzzles while getting jumped by bad guys left and right. Meanwhile, you can't be the alien because in this case you need to move a box from point A to point B. Fun, right? Yes, actually, this little project of mine is starting to become, dare I say, a playable game. The way this box works is actually really simple. So for once, I'll show you how it works. Was that a voice crack or not? I can't tell. Ignore it. Initially, I had it set so when the alien was active, the box would automatically become really heavy so you can't push it, which on paper seemed like a good idea. However, this could be exploited in a way that makes it easier to fight the bad guys using it as a shield. So instead, I changed it so when the alien specifically makes contact with the box, the mass of the box becomes as heavy as your fat mum, and the alien can't push it, whereas everything else can. Which is really what we're looking for. Boom, pow, another enemy. What was that? That just flew off my chair. That's disgusting. Another success, smooth sailing. We move onwards. Ooh, now this one was a fun one. Even before I started making this, I was really excited to get on with it. And I knew it would be a super easy and nice change of pace from the really hard, really challenging, really complicated box that I made. Basically, to keep the player from running from room to room without solving any challenges, I made these cool laser doors that deal damage when touched. That can also be set up as a little obstacle for the player to both avoid and also used to their advantage. Mainly because while the laser does in fact only do damage to the player, the robot projecting the laser isn't hostile, meaning you can jump, walk, and stand on these things, making it accessible when you move around. Very nice. But just look at how beautiful this animation is. Like, it's just so satisfying, and I'm proud of my artistic ability for once, which even of itself is rarer than a laughing crowd at an Amy Schumer comedy gig.
But I truly am, no joke, sorry for the loss of your friend Ryan Dunn. I know you must have been thinking it could have been me, and I know we were all thinking, why wasn't it?
Fuck you, Amy!
I'm being really loud. I feel like I'm being really loud. Leading on from that, I made 2 more traps. For some reason, I always had this random vision of just having random buzzsaws in my game, so, Again, another super duper mind-boggling challenge was to write a script for this saw. Oh wow, look, saw go. Now that saw wasn't exactly what I wanted to show you because I pretty much already made Saw Trap 2.0. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, but Oliver, isn't that the same lasers from the Barry door thing you were talking about earlier? Yes, because I'm lazy. Idiot. Which, if you haven't guessed already, is why my game sucks currently. But don't worry, just give it a little spin and Look, it's the buzzsaw I just made. Can't even tell I recycled assets. Despite its simplicity, this trap was really finicky, partly because if you know anything about game development, you know what a box collider is. More commonly known to players as a hitbox, kind of. Well, the hitbox of the lasers for this machine made it so when it hit the player, boing! Fear not, my sunshine mood shall not be broken today, considering this was an easy fix. All I needed to do was write a script for the machine so it disabled the box collider when the player is invulnerable, aka the grace period, which means the player can't be damaged if any morons are watching this video right now. Therefore, it hits the player, disables, and the player doesn't get stuck. Someone ought to hire me at this rate. I mean, I'm just flawlessly making all of these things work for my game with very little need for effort and just raw talent. So considering it took me a week to make a rope, I'd say being able to make other things is fairly accomplishable and progressive this time around. That's a nice change. I can positively end the video with a big, nice, happy boy smile on my face. And I can't wait to show you what comes next. I can wait because I don't actually know what I'm going to show you next. It's going to be made up on the spot.